Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And this time, I'm not alone. I am with the amazing Nicholas Iricchio. Nicholas, how are you, my friend?
Good, how are you? I got to keep up appearances
We
for the
got to.
Doctor.
Yeah,
You know, I'm
you
in
gotta.
I'm in the Marvel videos, I'm in the DC videos, I'm on the round table, but I don't show up on the Doctor Who side. I can't have
Not
people thinking I
anymore.
don't like the show.
Now you're stuck and you can't leave. Welcome to the Doctor Who videos, my friend. It's been.
I'm not gonna do
It's been
Star Wars next.
it's been a hell of a ride. But yes, guys, we are here to talk about Joy to the World. This was the latest Doctor Who Christmas special that was attached to the first Disney Plus era season that they've done. You can find the reviews for all those episodes on the channel. But I'm particularly excited to talk about this one because I usually am a big fan of the Christmas specials, and two, as anyone who's watched the channel at all knows, huge Stephen Moffat fan. He's my favorite Doctor Who writer. So knowing that he was going to come back and do this was a big deal for me personally, as I just love his writing. And kind of giving my brief overall thoughts before we dive into it. And by the way, full spoilers for the episode. If you haven't watched the episode, go watch it and then come back. Overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I definitely think it has some issues that are, to me, more on the direction than the script, and that's not just me defending Moffat because he's my favorite. I think there are some script issues, but for the most part, the issues I have with it are the direction because the ideas of it are good. The execution just seemed a bit off. I also think it suffers a little bit from being the ending is rather convenient and solves really quickly. I almost feel like this could have been like a 90-minute episode if they really wanted it to be. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I think Ncuti Gatwa did an amazing job. You can tell he's fully realized as the Doctor, and his chemistry with all of the new cast that's in it is really well done. I loved a lot of the new characters. I loved Anita, the uh, kind of landlady of the hotel. I really liked Joy, even though we didn't get as much of her as I thought we would. I thought that the overall storytelling was really done. I love the Time Hotel. I wish they would do more stuff with the Time Hotel, actually. And I thought that the kind of overall themes really resonated with me. There were a couple times where I even teared up watching it. And I also think that something that Moffat does particularly well is he can take a new character whom you've never met and have you really care about them dying. And that kind of happened with the Silurian in the episode when the doctor's kind of like, hey, before you go, like, tell me your story. And it reminded me of the sequence in A Good Man Goes to War when the one woman was dying who wanted to meet him because like he had saved her as a kid, and so he
Mhm.
finds her in her last moments and like comforts her. It kind of was reminiscent of that moment to me. But like I said, overall, I really enjoyed the episode. There are a couple things that I think didn't quite work, which we'll get into. But before we dive into that, Nick, your overall thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I've been going sort of back and forth on this. It's a Christmas special, and they're supposed to be kind of fun and more lighthearted, but then also paired with some of the other Christmas episodes that have actually been more sort of canonically story driven and like a lot of setup, especially in the earlier seasons when like it felt like every time the Doctor regenerated, it was a Christmas special.
Yeah, yeah,
I think Ncuti Gatwa is absolutely fantastic as the Doctor. I think it's kind of funny, sort of the flip. Like I kind of get the same vibe because I haven't been a huge. I think there were some episodes this season that were great, and then some that weren't really great. But it's sort of like Jodie's season where I'm like, they are fantastic as the Doctor.
yeah,
They are crushing it.
hundred
They
percent.
get it. Um, I think structure wise, I thought the story was a little odd here. I think my favorite part of it was sort of when we stop and he's at the regular hotel with was her name Nina? Is that what you said?
Anita,
Anita. I thought that that was honestly probably the strongest part of the episode, but the way it
hundred
was sort of
percent.
played in and structured around the rest of the narrative felt it was a very sharp shift, and it sort of didn't give you a chance to sort of reset and get into it, and by the time you were, it was over, and then they were asking you to be back to 100 here. And I think sort of keeping that sort of pacing was sort of like giving whiplash a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
And I thought the ending was a little too cheesy for my taste. Again, sort of going back and forth of it's Christmas, it's supposed to be lighthearted, but that sort of felt like a little over the top. Now, did I tear up? Yes. But that doesn't mean I could still, I could still
Yeah.
criticize it a little bit. I thought it was a little too hallmarky, you
No,
know.
no, 100%. And my whole thing with the ending, particularly diving into that, like I said, the concept of it was really interesting. Like, oh, she embraces the star. She realizes that she has a purpose, that she can be this thing for the world, and embraces the star, and then becomes the star in the sky.
Hmm.
Interesting idea. Having her just kind of float there, I was like, all right, this execution is not working for me. And because you could have had it work in a similar way of the Doctor's Wife episode when the TARDIS fades away and becomes the TARDIS again. Like, it's a similar concept, but that one kind of worked a lot more than this one. And
Yeah.
part of me thinks if because we've talked about this before, of like, does Doctor Who have too much money now? Like, do they need to go back a little bit to the kind of bare bones cheesiness that kind of somehow still makes it work through this ragtag we can do it kind of thing? But overall, I think they're using the budget mostly well. But with the ending, like I said, conceptually thought it was fine. The execution was a bit off for me. Something else I kind of wanted to talk about was there's some COVID commentary in this, which was really heartbreaking. And I thought the performance of the actor playing Joy did a really great job, like with that emotion of the fact that she couldn't properly say goodbye to her mother. But I had like an existential crisis watching it, because I was watching it and I'm like, COVID commentary, that seems a little bit odd for something that just happened. And then I was talking to Hannah and she's like, well, we're coming up on 5 years ago. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize. So
But then it was also on the flip side. Why are we still doing COVID commentary 5 years from,
Right. But I think that to me, this version of the COVID commentary was a little bit different from some of the other things that we've seen in media. I mean, yeah, it was similar in that, like, the restrictions of not being able to do things, particularly loved ones. But I thought that the way they handled it was really good, personally. I'm also a fan of dinosaurs, so just more of that. Was a big fan. Like, they're clearly setting something up with Valangard, the corporation, and because they were first referenced in the Eccleston Moffat episode with the gas masks, and then they came back for Boom, which was like, I thought was just like, oh, that's a cool Easter egg, and then they came back again, and I'm like, all right, I feel like something's going on with this corporation that they're going to build up more.
Oh, 100%.
But I thought that was interesting. Going back to what you said, the sequence where the Doctor and Anita are just kind of living in that hotel, I thought was really wonderful. I love when the Doctor has to do like a job for an extended period of time. And the sequence when he hands her the plunger and he's like, "Is this thing armed?" I thought that was so
really
funny.
good. Funny.
I also love the confrontation the Doctor has with himself when he's like, this is why no one likes you. This is why everybody leaves you, is because you're annoying like this. And, I kind of like when you get into that deeper emotional part of it. We also got to see the Doctor be very fucking mean to Joy when he's trying to bring out to save her life, really. And I loved the line that followed that. And he's like, I know right now you're thinking that was a bad way to save your life, but there is no bad way to save someone's life. And I thought that was good.
He started doing that, and I was like, oh, hi, Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
Angry Scottish doctors are best doctors.
Yes. And my favorite line in the episode, and it's something that Moffat does often, especially in Doctor Who, is whenever there's something that has to be like a special plot convenience or something that like he knows that's going to get criticized, he kind of just addresses it head on. And the best line in the episode is when after we catch up to when he gives the code for the briefcase and we go into the Time Hotel when we're caught up in the future, he's kind of explaining to Joy that it was a bootstrap paradox of like where the code came from. And then she's like, but where did it actually originally come from? And he goes, the truth is it came from nowhere, but so did the universe, and no one complains about that. And then he just like kept going. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was again, I was kind of like, oh, that's the buildup for it. I thought I was kind of hoping maybe it was something like over years of being at the hotel that he like would piece together some puzzle there, which I guess that's the puzzle. But I like when the Doctor figures out things.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think that's sort of the appeal. So then him just walking in and being like, oh, I just made up the numbers and it worked.
No,
a little convenient, I guess.
Yeah, like for me, it's not even that making up the numbers. It's just that he got the code from his past self, which he knows the code because he heard his future self say it, and there just happens to be the code. I I loved when you said I love when the Doctor like figures things out. I love in the beginning of the episode when he goes into the TARDIS and he puts his coat on and he's like, now why did I do that? And then he grabs the Sonic. He's like, oh, what am I doing? I must have saw something. And he goes out there. Like I loved that whole. It just perfectly encapsulates Ncuti. But that moment with the bootstrap moment with the coat reminded me of the Capaldi moment in the Series 9 opener when all of the Daleks shoot at him, and then when the smoke clears, he's inside of a Dalek with a cup of tea, and he's like, you're probably wondering, how did you survive that? How did you have enough time to make this cup of tea? The answer is, I'm the Doctor, get used to it. And I just love shit like that.
But when that's just like your opening and you're just doing like a bit, I feel like it's different when that's sort of like, I've spent 15 minutes because you've locked yourself in a room.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of payoff there. You know, but I mean, it's sort of things where like I kind of wish that things were sort of tied to a greater story. You know, like we have that thing of at the edge of the universe, he's breaking the salt, you know, or the breaking the line, whatever it was.
Yeah, and the 60th specials,
Yeah, and maybe there was sort of this thing where like these fantastical elements start to happen, this mythical stuff, right? You have like the 7-3 yards, the fairies. Like it would be interesting, almost like a situation where the Doctor, like stuff like that with the bootstrap paradox, he's causing all these like sort of infinite branches of different things to happen, which is causing whatever to get out of chaos, time to be in flux more. And I don't know. I just wish maybe things like that were tied to a greater storyline.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense.
There are no rules now, you know, as opposed to there just being no rules for the sake of it.
I mean, I get that criticism, but it also goes to the point of like, the Christmas special is either a really fun one-off or it's detrimental to the series. Like, there's no, like, few and in between. Like, Tennant regeneration, Smith regeneration, Capaldi regeneration, all Christmas specials. Yep. The Clara, like, the middle of season 7 was a Christmas special. But then you also have, like, Christmas Carol and Last Christmas and all this other stuff that's, like, fun. And this kind of goes into that category. It is fascinating like how they kind of work these in to doing that, and I wonder if it has to do with, this is just me speculating, I wonder if it has to do with like contracts. Like I'm sure a showrunner is like, hey, I want to finish a season and you regenerating isn't really part of that story, so can you at least give me the Christmas one? And they're like, all right, fine. And then they go and do it, because you know, something we haven't seen since Eccleston is the Doctor regenerating just as part of the season, because like that was the series finale when Eccleston regenerated, and then Tennant's first episode was also a Christmas special.
Yeah.
What
was Jodie?
They did New Year's specials for her, but her last episode specifically was the bicentennial of the BBC. That was like the anniversary that they did for her, and then that's when her regeneration came in. But yeah. So guys, final thoughts on Joy to the World. I enjoyed it. I say it's in the upper middle tier of the Christmas specials. By the way, I thought about trying to rank these, and then I wrote out every special, and I'm like, there's so much more of them than I thought there were, and it became just way too hard.
The balance of, like you said, there's the story-driven ones, like who's not going to love the regenerations and everything, cross with the fun ones. So it's like, how do you rank those against each other?
Yeah, it's difficult. But overall, I really enjoyed the episode. You know, it has some errors that were, you know, I think could have been handled a lot better, particularly in the ending, kind of like what you were saying. But overall, I thought it was a really fun Christmas episode, and I hope Moffat comes back to write more.
Yeah, no, I'll second that.
And, you know, guys, I love talking about Doctor Who. As you guys know, we're now going to force Nick to always talk about Doctor Who. And, you know, listen, there may come a time where the audience forces us to rewatch the entire show and make a tier list of the seasons. Guys, just make it happen and I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll drop everything.
You could do it right now without rewatching them.
I probably could, but
with your Doctor Who knowledge, I'd have to rewatch all of it. I recently started a rewatch of Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
man, I'm like 4 episodes in, and I'm like, man, I don't remember any of this show.
Yeah, but it's good, right?
Oh no, it's great. Yeah,
yeah.
But like things were happening. I'm like, that was in the first 3 episodes. I could have sworn that was like season 3.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get you. I get you. But guys, what were your thoughts on Joy to the World? Please let us know in the comments down below. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.